Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. Today is Tuesday, February 10th. I am so glad that you guys are with us this afternoon. Thank you so much for being here. This is TNT, the nation's longest running free coaching program for notaries. I want to say a very special hello to anyone who might be joining us for the very first time. We are thrilled that you're here. And for everybody who's watching us on YouTube after catching the replay, hello. Thank you for joining us. We are thrilled that you are joining us later as well. You are all stepping into a mastermind filled with experienced pros and smart, curious notaries who actually want to see each other win. This is TNT. Think of it as the play-by-play of the notary business. We go live each week to break down what's working, celebrate wins, and coach you through the strategies that keep your business moving forward, not stuck on the sidelines. Now, questions in the chat may or may not be answered. Priority, of course, is given to folks who raise their hand to have their question answered. And to do that, all you have to do is raise your digital hand, which you'll find right at the bottom of your Zoom screen, a little outline of a hand. Um, and any of the rules or etiquette, announcements, anything like that is going to be put into the chat for you. So be sure, if we talk about a link or something like that, we're going to post it in the chat. So make sure you check that out. And for everybody on YouTube, just check the caption below. I've got links every week for things that we talk about. You can also check the chat for any upcoming events and announcements that you don't want to miss. But first, I want to introduce myself. My name is Jen Neitzel. I am the creator of Marketing for Notaries and the 5-Point Marketing System. I am also the co-creator of the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent program. And I am joined with my partner in crime, my co-hostess with the mostest, Laura Beaver with Coach Me Laura. Hi, Laura.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's good to join you. I am Laura from Coach Me Laura, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys on yet another Tuesday when we discuss questions and scenarios and build confidence and competence. Welcome.
Love it. Love it. We, of course, are supported on this call by the one and only Matt Miller with the California League of Independent Notaries. Matt, hello. How are you today?
Hello, Jen. Hello, Laura, and all the familiar faces and new faces out there. It's a great day. I'm happy to be here. Let's get on with the call.
Let's get some
Yeah.
questions answered. I'm going to start the way I always do with some announcements. So while I'm making these, I want you guys to go ahead and get those hands raised. We are ready to get this party started and start answering those questions. So go ahead and get in line, raise your hand to have your questions answered while we talk about announcements, things you need to know. And the first thing I want you to know about is Laura's new book that she's released. Laura, can you tell us about your new book, The Compassionate Notary? Is she?
Of course, I had an attendee walk up just at that
Oh,
moment.
sorry.
Would you please repeat that?
Would you tell us about your new book, The Compassionate Notary?
I'm so excited, guys.
I know
I
you
just got
finally
my
got
own.
a copy.
Yes, it took over a month for me to get my own books, my author's copies, but they finally, some of them arrived anyways, last night. So I'm so excited to have them with me. This book is for you. If you think about specializing in medical facility work, but it's also for you if you do trust work, loan signing work, or any other kind of work, because sometimes they just happen to be in a hospital when they need the documents notarized. And so if that's not what you do all the time, it's even more important you know what to do when you get there. So it's out, it's available, and I hope that you hear my voice whenever you have to use it, and that it gets worn and torn and dog-eared and highlighted, and it sits in your notary bag.
It absolutely will. And guys, the link for the book is in the chat. I encourage all of you to please check that out. Um, I want to keep reminding you guys that we do have a new TNT reminder email going out. If you aren't receiving it for some reason, please go check in your spam or promotions folder. Now that Google is classifying everything for us, they're moving things around and it makes some people think they're not getting their TNT email delivered. You don't need to re-sign up for it. Otherwise, you're going to start getting duplicates once you mark it as safe to be in your inbox. Um, Also, Laura and I have another webinar coming up about the estate planning industry. If you are interested in working with attorneys and estate planning professionals, helping people protect their legacies, we will be hosting a CNTDA, that's Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent webinar on February 16th. Let's get this link in the chat so you guys can get signed up. It's free. Come learn about the opportunity. And the webinars are the only time moving forward that we are offering not discount, but a special discount, I should say, for you guys just for coming. So there's special webinar pricing. So it's definitely worth coming if it is something that you are interested in. All right, guys, let's get to our questions. I haven't even opened my camera here. We don't even have any hands up. Everybody's quiet today, Matt.
Where they are, but I know there's questions out there.
Well, let's go to our form and we will start with that while you guys are getting your juices flowing and thinking up questions for us. Um, Matt, I picked this question specifically for you
Okay.
because I thought it was just so interesting. What systemic improvements would you recommend to strengthen the notarial process in our increasingly digital and identity theft prone environment?
Yes. So I think what I would suggest that we did widespread, which I think is what's suggested by the word use of the word systemic. I think that we need to add something like how we have with password protection, we call it two-factor, to our identity vetting process. Whether that,
Mm,
we're kind of doing that in online already. We usually check the ID against not only the likeness of the person, but we scan it to see if it's a real ID, not real, but a genuine ID rather. We also, in many states, check biometrics. Other states are doing knowledge-based assessment questions. But in person, I think a lot of us are still just looking at the ID, reading the description, looking at the person, and going ahead with the notarization. And that is fine, so long as you are confident that is the person that is on that ID in front of you. But perhaps we should bring some of these digital tools into our in-person transactions, whereas maybe it is some kind of a KBA process where you hand them your phone and ask them certain identity questions that only they can answer. Or perhaps if your state allows biometrics, you could compare the picture on the ID to some kind of biometric image of their face in real time. So giving you even more evidence that that is the person in front of you.
yeah.
So I kind of think that those things are definitely coming. Not a lot of people know, but I sit as an official observer with the Uniform Law Commission, who has this year a committee on the epidemic of deed fraud, which many of you are familiar with. And a big part of these conversations are about the notary's role and what we can do to better help notaries, make a positive identification with the person that they're either sitting in front of or that they are working with via RON as well. So I think that was a very timely question because a lot of things are going to start coming to the surface on this subject. And so it's good for notaries to be thinking forward
Yeah.
when it comes to identity vetting and proofing.
And I think we will see in the next few years a lot of necessary changes. And I just want to point out, when I read that question, this is just an example of how two people, with the same goal can think of two different things. Because the first thing, Matt, that went through my head when I read that question was slow down.
Mm,
Slow down. We have this idea in our head that the faster we complete a job, that faster equals better. And that is not right. And so just the simple act of slowing down, right? And not you know, using the quiet time that you're there to be talking and chatting and that with the people you're signing, but really like not being afraid to be quiet in front of them and double and triple checking your work. But obviously everything you said is accurate. And like I said, you were the first person I thought of when I found that question on the form. I was like, oh, this is a perfect one for Matt. But did you see what Diana put in the chat? Look at the signer's eyes. If the ID says blue, are they?
I think that's brilliant.
I know. I mean, sometimes it's hard to tell. Like, I don't know if you could tell I have blue eyes right now with glasses on and stuff, but I mean, it's things like that that are so like it says male, it says female. Like, look and use your believe your eyes, what you see, right? So whoever submitted that question, thank you so much for that. But we've got Jeanette with her hand up, and Jeanette, I owe you an email.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, yeah.
But what can we do for you this afternoon?
On that same vein, what about that? I forgot that pen. It's some kind of pen that you or a
iPen?
light.
iPen, is that what you're talking
Oh,
about?
I know what she's.
Where you can check
I
He's talking about the blue pen, the blue light.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
the blue light. Gotcha. Okay. And then
where
what
you
was
got.
your question about it?
Well, what are your thoughts on that, and how effective is it?
Well, certainly it's one more step, but I'm going to tell you, nothing beats examining the card with the details
Yeah.
provided. If they're 6 foot tall, does he look 6 foot tall or 5 foot
Yeah.
six? If you've got the photo, and if you see significant differences, it could be just aging, but it could, and there could be a plausible reason, but make him explain it.
Hmm.
Why don't you look like your picture? Right?
So,
Some people get really big, some people lose a lot of weight and get really small. We change our hair color, you know, isn't a good one because we change our hair color, guys lose their hair. There are some things that aren't as good, but there's other uh, the age, is that what the age or date of birth? Does it say he's 65, but you got a 20-year-old in front of you?
Yeah.
I think these are really big, significant things that if we just take a moment to look for that, there are things we can still do without the technology. I love that my e-journal, is scanning that information in for me, but it doesn't
yes,
absolve me of
exactly.
stopping to take a look and take notice and make a note. If they explain why they don't look like what's in their picture, I'm going to make a note. So if it turns out it's not them, at least they can see I tried to identify them.
Yeah, exactly. Matt, what do you have to say?
Yeah, people do change, but typically eye color doesn't change. This zone of the face doesn't really
Mhm.
change much unless you get a nose job or something. But that is a really safe zone, this triangle here, to focus on when you are having trouble making, matching that picture up. Try the T zone here, and that should match. And if it doesn't, then you might want to ask what else is in the wallet.
Yeah. So I want to also, Jeanette, offer another way of thinking about this. I have children who are in their young 20s. And they all decided to, before they turned 21, to purchase a fake ID. And we got my light out one evening to see how it scanned, not only through the Notary e-journal, but also through the black light. So you need to be aware that there are kids that can go to downtown Dallas and I'm throwing my kids under the bus here, that can get for $150, which is not that much money, a really accurate ID that will scan. And so you need to use a combination of things, your skill, your knowledge, your eyes, your experience, as well as any tools that that you can come into play to enhance that. But I have to assume that it's not just 18, 19, and 20-year-olds looking for fake IDs to go drinking in the bars and clubs that are getting these fake IDs. So be aware of that. And it's not just happening in Dallas, Texas.
And when you look at alternatives, that means other forms of ID. So if I'm having issues with this ID, a lot of times if they got a fake ID, they didn't fake a bunch of credit cards and fake a bunch of other stuff in their wallet. Their wallet
Yep.
isn't going to have anything else with that name on it. So
Yep.
that's the other thing. Well, you got something else that supports this ID.
Yeah. 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 It was pretty eye-opening for me as a mother and a notary public what these kids can get their hands on these days. I mean, my fake ID, I was holding a big uh, poster board with a cutout in it, and somebody used a Sharpie to write on it, and it was laminated, right? But I'm aging myself, so use the tools that you have available to you for sure. Brian in California has a question for us. Hi, Brian.
Hi there. No, the thing I do with my signers, I ask them for two forms of ID and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
then I go and try to ask them if they can remember the license number or the issue date on the card. Try
Interesting.
to
Oh, good
push
one.
them a little.
The issue date, that's an interesting. I don't know that I'd be able to do that on mine. I could tell you the expiration date, maybe, but most people know their driver's license number, right? Like most people should be able to say that out loud, I would think.
Yes.
Uh-oh, but Amy's going, uh-oh, I have valid IDs and two names in my wallet, and that's what happens when you get divorced, right? I did too for a while, and then I got remarried, and it was like having had three names, it was, it was a mess. But yeah, it's it's not always simple. All right, thank you for sharing that, Brian. You guys can go ahead and get those hands raised for your questions, and I am going to move on. Actually, Matt, I would love for you, now that, we have a full call, we kind of purposely waited on this because it's so important. We need everybody's attention. Matt is going to talk to us about a project that he's working on in California. Matt, can you share with us?
Thanks, Jen. So, for those who've been following, and for those who don't know, the California League of Independent Notaries is sponsoring a bill in California this year to adjust our notary fee caps for the first time in a decade, which we believe will help current notaries face the costs that they are actually meet the costs that they are facing to serve the public, and therefore protect and expand access to notarial services throughout the state. The bill was introduced a few weeks ago and has now been assigned to the Judiciary Committee. And so we have been asked to collect letters of support for the bill and deliver them to the committee the first week of March. We have set up an action center where it takes literally 2 minutes to register your support at calnotaries.org. You fill in your name and some other information, you send we collect it, and then we're going to deliver all these in one massive file, like I said, the first week of March. The reason that this is so important, guys, is because a decade ago, when the fees were last adjusted, it took more than 1,100 people writing in to get that bill passed into the governor's desk. And so this time we want to hit 1,500, which is just over 1% of the notary population in California. And it will make the world of difference. It's basically going to be whether or not this bill gets considered and passed seriously or not. The legislature is apprehensive to increase the cost of living for anything right now, but they are sympathetic to notaries whose fees are statutorily capped, which is a mandated service by the legislature itself. And so they understand that our costs have gone up while our fees have remained stagnant. So if we can prove to them that this is a serious enough issue, they will certainly pass our bill and hopefully we will be signed into law. So it's very important that not only you as a notary registers your support, but this campaign is open to all members of the public. So you can send a letter, your family or spouse can send a letter, your friend or neighbor can send a letter, your favorite client can send a letter, and then you ask your notary colleague across town to send a letter and they start all over again. So if every notary sends 5 letters or gets 5 people to send letters rather, we really just need about over 300 notaries to participate to meet our goal. So while 1,500 sounds like a lot, now that you know the math, it's pretty simple. So I placed the link in the chat. Please go and register your support today. Spread the word across your social media, your friends, your family, your colleagues, your clients, and I think we'll make our goal. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'll put my contact information in the chat.
Thank you, Matt. This is so important, and not just for California notaries. This is our chance to stand up and say and ask legislation in California to do the right thing. But in any other state that you live in, this is your chance to stand up for the notary profession. Matt facilitates these kinds of activities all over the country, not just in California. So if you want to affect positive change in this business, I encourage you to take the, what, 5 minutes, maybe?
Not even.
Not even to check out the link in the chat and let's see what we can do to get this bill passed. This is how things work. This is how we get things done. So let's all participate in making that happen. Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to one of our form questions. Um, let's see. Laura, this one is for you. And wait, are you in a good spot to listen to this now?
Good right now.
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure.
Where they go?
Okay. So obviously this is anonymous. It says, I'm new here, so no pressure to bring this up if it's not fitting. That first line intrigued me, so I had to keep reading. And I also know that we all love and appreciate the NNA, the National Notary Association. So I certainly don't want to start a problem with them. But this week, I learned that the $99 a year advertising a profile on NNA's Find a Notary does not include a background check, which is an additional $89. And they won't accept an outside background check, only theirs. So I think that's a bummer. I'm new and started with a few notary signings, and my goal was to save up to get my profile on NNA. But now I just need to keep going and keep saving. I know someday I'll get there. But did anyone else find that to be surprising and kind of false advertising that the price they show isn't what it truly cost?
Okay, so first of all, I want to say a couple things about that because I have that and I pay for it.
Mhm.
If you are a loan signing agent and you already have a background screen, that already counts. So you don't have to get another one.
Yeah.
So this person obviously wasn't a loan signing agent yet.
Yes.
And they're reusing the same background screen for both signing agent and find a notary, which signing agent is real estate related and find a notary is kind of everything else related. If you're not a loan signing agent and you want to be on that directory, then they want you to have a background screen and it's their directory. Just as 123 has their own directory and Hire a Notary has their own directory, everybody has their own directory and they can make their rules based on what they think makes their directory more valuable. The NNA believes that if they're going to put a directory out, then they want to make sure somebody has a background screen, either because they were background screen as a signing agent already or for this directory. And, you know, that's the rules that they're laying out to be a part of this. The directory isn't meant for every notary. It's meant for those who want to be on this particular directory. And the NNA's name is on the directory. So those are the things I want you to think about. Not all directories are equal. Some are very small and they don't have very much reach. The NNA's directory is I think close to 11,000 notaries across the United States currently. It's only been out there for 2 years. And their SEO is very powerful. As a matter of fact, it's funny. I just got a request. I was checking my email before this call and I just got a request from Find a Notary. And it only takes a couple jobs and it's already paid for.
And it's already paid.
It's already paid for.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're causing a problem. I think that transparency is important. I certainly will go take a look to see how they're advertising. I don't have the right flyers with me today. How they're advertising it to see if I think they're hiding it, which is what it sounded like you thought it was. So I'll take a look at that part of it. but I don't think there's anything wrong with the fees or that they're requiring a background screen.
No, absolutely not. And I also wanted to point out, I love that, as Diana said in the chat, very well said, Laura. But I want to add that if they were to just accept a background check, they being the NNA, accept a background check from anywhere, I don't know if you've ever seen a background check, if you've held one in your hands, but it is typed words on a piece of paper, which equals somebody could easily forge one. So the way to guarantee that your background check is authentic is to tell you where to go get it, because they trust that company and they know that company. So I was reading this and it kind of reminded me, Laura, of that conversation online about why, and you know I'm going to say here, why isn't the NNA, why isn't my NNA membership dues of, what is it, $90 a year?
Yeah, 89 or
Why
something like
isn't that covering my
conference.
conference ticket? Which is, first of
Because it's
all,
so friggin' expensive.
it's a ridiculous, if you've ever planned an event of any kind with more than 20 people, then you know why. That, if you've ever been to the conference, you know why they charge normal conference price. Actually, I don't even think it's normal. I think it's cheap based on what they do. That's my opinion. But it reminded me of that. The NNA is not, um, what's the word I'm looking for, Laura? My mind just
Well,
went
they're
The
blank.
not a
NA is
charity.
not, yeah,
They're
it's
in
not a
business too.
nonprofit.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they're in
They are
business.
for-profit
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
It
And
is
it costs
regulated.
money to house these directories. It is not, oh,
Mhm.
this is just something I can set up for free, right? So it costs a lot of money. And that's what you are investing in, and that's what you're paying for. With their reach alone, in my opinion, it's absolutely, from a marketing perspective, it is absolutely worth every single penny. And the fact that the background check is separate is, in my opinion, just a way of verifying that they're getting accurate background checks, right? Matt, do you have anything?
I think it's smart policy. I mean, the league has a member directory as well, and it is complicated and it is time consuming and it does cost money to continue
Yeah.
to keep it live. And I mean, one of our bylaws is you must be an active member to be an active notary to be a member. So every business, including nonprofits, have their rights to set up whatever rules or bylaws they wish.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, we've got some hands up, and Faith in Texas has something for us. Hi, Faith.
Hello, everyone. How are you today?
Wonderful.
Good.
Faith, you need to go on the radio or do some kind of like
Yes.
calm app. Your voice, like it could just soothe somebody to sleep. Go ahead. What is your what is your question?
First of all, Laura, I want to tell you that you look like a Breck girl today. Yeah.
Get that hair going, girl.
So my question is really for Matt. So Matt, I didn't complete my profile on the league website because I want to concentrate on medical facilities instead of the CNTDA. So do you recommend that I complete it geared towards medical facilities, or what do you think?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great way to leverage SEO. Um, I kind of make certain profiles geared towards the industry that they are most closely related with. So my profile on the league website, for example, that is geared towards law offices, small businesses, but not necessarily the title or real estate industry, not necessarily just average consumers. And then say on Notary Rotary, well, that's geared all towards LSA. On signingagent.com, same. On Find a Notary is very consumer oriented. So that I'm just targeting people and it works. So you've got to kind of consider what the directory is trying to align with, like Notary Cafe is another example that aligns with the loan signing business. And then tailor your listing on that directory towards what you want to target. Now, for the league, I can tell you because I look at the back end website reports, and we get thousands of searches a month, thousands, and they're coming from all over the country, and it's not any one sector. I can tell you that it's not a lot of real estate and title companies, but it's law firms, people, small businesses, that sort of thing. So I encourage you and anybody else who's on the call that has a paid membership to complete your directory listing, because something else we do is if you don't have a complete listing, we don't show it because we want our searchers to see full completed
Yes.
listings.
Yes.
So go on there and complete it. That way you show up in everyday search results.
So even if it's geared towards medical facilities, go on and complete it, but include some CNTDA stuff or what?
You could mention under the credentials box that you are
Okay.
a certified notary trust delivery agent. And see, the more information you give it rather, the more it throws into SEO. Like we have this whole back end SEO program that creates metadata for you. So you don't have to do all that kind of coding stuff.
Right.
And many notaries who have listings tell me when someone searches for a notary in their town, that the league directory listing is above the fold. It's in the top, say, 4 or 5 organic results. So it does work and it does make a difference.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question. Thank you for asking.
Thanks for the question, Faith. I love her voice. It is so soothing.
Oh, I could listen all day long.
I
She would be one of those great radio storytellers.
Oh, yes. Like from the 40s where the
Yeah.
families used to gather
Yeah.
around it.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
We need to put some kind of like Faith, if you ever
Notary
come to
story
conference,
together.
let us know. We'll put some kind of skit or something together and like gathered around the old radio. Um, Janine,
Fireside, right?
yeah, fireside chat. There you
Yeah.
go. Janine has a question for us. Janine, tell us what
Hello,
state you're in.
California.
Awesome. What's your
Good
question?
afternoon, everyone. I was listening to the replay of the trust call that Laura did yesterday, and it sparked a memory of mine where I was notarized a POA about a month ago, and everything went well. It was an elder client in his 70s going in for heart surgery, signing a POA for his younger cousin. Did I say elder cousin? Younger cousin or who was in her 50s. Everything went fine. He knew what he was signing. He was happy with her being the agent. But when we started wrapping everything up, he turned to her and said, you know, you can kind of try and steal my house now. And it started a little bit of a weird conversation. And it went fine, but then he looked at me and I felt like he looked at me for some guidance. And I diverted my eyes and started wrapping up my stuff. And I just wanted to know, has anyone been in that position? I've done other POAs where it's never come up. And I wanted to know what you did in that moment. And could we say anything that wasn't the unauthorized practice of law? Because we can't say, well, you can revoke this. So I just wanted to know your experience.
Well, one, I'd redirect them to the powers that are listed in the POA because not all POAs include the sale of real property. Or it's very vague. And what'll
Yeah,
happen
this
is
one did. This was all of it.
if they try to use it, they're going to say it's not specific enough that says you can buy or sell property in their name. So that's the one thing. It just depends on how broad a power they've given this person. But I haven't had any of my personal clients say something like that they're concerned that that person can do it. And the other thing I remind people of is that you're not giving up your right to make any decisions at all. When you sign a power of attorney, you're just going to share the power at some point in time.
Mhm.
It might be springing, which means the point in time is going to be when you can't make decisions. It might be right away. I do that with my mom. She still can make most of her decisions on her own, but she asks me when she wants me to step in and make decisions or sign her name. So it just depends on the person that they've nominated. And I will tell you, it's so important to make sure the person you nominate to be your attorney, in fact, that they're trustworthy, that you believe they'll take on that fiduciary role and make decisions, the best decisions for you without regard to themselves.
Yeah. I know Matt had something he wanted to add to that as well. Matt?
Yeah, I have had this happen as a joke among siblings. Never really got awkward or silly, but they did ask the question, what happens, when someone doesn't need it anymore, doesn't want it anymore? And actually, yes, you can say you can talk to a lawyer about a revocation. I'm not telling them how to do it, when to do it, what form they need to do it. I'm just sharing that there's information out there that, you can revoke this. And a lot of times, powers of attorney will have a provision or clause in it that mentions that. So long as you're not telling them how to do it or advising them when they should do it, or you telling them what kind of form they should use, that's just sharing of public information.
And not for nothing, but I have never I worked in mortgage for a decade before I started my loan signing business in 2017. I have never had anyone come in with a POA where that was not verified by the title company. Talking to, the person who created the POA. So it's part of the process. And it actually ticks. I have one guy that was so ticked off, he could not believe the title company had to call his mother and verify that he's like, I'm the POA, dang it. There's no other, you shouldn't have to do anything to prove it. Da, 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 da. People think very with blinders on about when it comes to fraud and things like that. So it's there's always going to be somebody complaining about something, right? Laura, did you have something?
Yeah, I just want to also say for people who have powers of attorney, if they decide they're not happy with the decision, there's revocation. It's very simple to revoke that power of attorney and notify the bank, hey, they're not authorized anymore.
Mhm.
Boom, it's done.
Simple,
And
simple.
one last comment on this, Janine. Throughout your career, and maybe you have had this happen, but I know throughout my notary career, there's been multiple occasions where I will meet with someone, we'll sign a power of attorney, and then 2 days later they call me back and say, "Oh yeah, I went to the bank, and now the bank wants me to sign their power of attorney." So that's another guardrail
Oh.
against
Mhm.
easy fraud.
But you
Yeah,
can,
and I
but can
think
you, my question mostly was in that moment, I felt I shouldn't say, well, you can revoke this. I just felt I shouldn't have done that. They weren't arguing, but when I left, I was a little unsure if I should have said anything.
felt
That's kind
weird.
of weird.
Yeah, it felt
Yeah,
weird.
it felt
Yeah.
weird. I don't think
Yeah.
she would have done anything. I think he was going in for heart surgery. It was all good. It's just he had that quick
Yeah.
pause. And I just didn't know if
No,
I
I
should say,
think I think what Matt and Laura were talking about is correct. It's not you're not advising them to revoke the POA. You're not advising them where to go. You're just saying, you know, oh, haha, you guys are hysterical. But if you really mean it, you can always revoke the POA. It's not forever, right? It doesn't have to be forever if you don't want it to be. Matt, did you have something else?
No, that's it.
Okay. I saw your hand go up. I saw the sign. You were scratching your head. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. That's our signal, is that we want to say something. Giving away all our secrets here. Brian is back. He's in California. Brian, what can we do for you?
I just want to clarify this for me. I had a loan signing over the weekend with it was a husband and wife.
Uh-huh.
I filled out my journal, and the wife decided to sign on one of the husband's signature line. So I made the husband sign one more time and noted it in the journal and all that. Was that the right way to handle it?
I'm going to let our California notaries, one of them, answer that. Matt or Laura?
Did she disappear?
No, she's just looking for the mute button.
Oh.
Matt? Oh,
She
Yeah,
get
Matt,
that?
did you hear his question clearly? Because I could not hear it clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine, Brian. When I was using a
Eh,
paper journal, that happened a couple of times, and I would just strike out the incorrect signature, have the correct signature sign again, either the notes field or below the other signature or above wherever you got room, and just make a note in there, second signer made a mistake or something to that effect. That way, anyone down the road or yourself even, you'll know why that there's a strikeout and an additional signature.
Okay, because I have signed both again. That's the extra. I thought it wouldn't hurt to have them sign one more time, my brand new entry
Yeah,
and all that.
it never hurts to have more entries in California.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's happened to me before with when I was using a paper journal with the thumbprint too. The spouse got mixed up and went into the wrong square, so I basically struck it and made a new square for the thumbprint and did it over and notated it. So that's the
Okay.
beauty about our journal. It's our journal, so we can make notes in it and make it be compliant the best you can. And if you don't want to do that, like you had mentioned, you can just strike the whole entry and start a new one.
Okay.
Laura?
No, it was just like they got into the
Oh,
rhythm of signing and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
happens. Yeah.
It was
Back to
like I was
Jen's.
looking, watching them sign, and then I looked back down. I was like, "Oh no, someone signed on the wrong line." I was like, "No."
That's
I
okay.
think
Laura had some advice for you too.
Okay.
actually, I don't have advice for you, Brian. I think Matt answered it just fine. But what I do want to say to everybody who's on the call today, I'm going to be slipping off because I have to teach the second half of class instead of being the admin this afternoon. So I am going to leave us early. Enjoy the rest of your call with Matt and Jen. And I hope you guys come up with some great questions. Try to stump them.
Oh, hey. Thanks, Laura. Enjoy your
bye,
afternoon.
Laura.
Laura is going to go back to teaching, guys. All right, Melissa in California, what can we do for you this afternoon?
Hi, I just had a comment about the POA. I went to a nursing home and the woman was going to get ready to come home. She probably was going to be passing at home, but because she was already older. And anyways, so she had me do a POA for her daughter. She told me her name and she knew what she was doing. And we had two witnesses and everything. About a week later, another girl called me. It was the granddaughter, and she was saying, "Oh no, this and that and the other." So we went back, and I got two witnesses again. I went back, and then they were just all going at it. And the poor lady, she was confused on who she wanted to put now, and she was kind of naming a few people. I just finally just said, "I'm sorry. I think you guys just both need to contact your lawyers and work it out, and then call me back when you're ready." And I just left. Yeah.
Good answer.
Mm-hmm. Well done, Melissa.
Yeah,
Well
yeah.
done. I love that.
I've also used the phrase of, it just seems to me that today we're not ready, so you call me back when you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Seems like you guys got some things to work out.
Yep.
Let me know when you're ready, right? Lori is McPherson is at work and she's not able to turn her microphone on. So she does have a question about the NNA. And she asked, does the NNA do a background check that isn't included in the loan signings? I believe she's talking about their loan signing package when you purchase that, right?
That's what I was
Um,
saying.
so I think what she's asking, and correct me in the chat, Lori, here if I'm wrong, um, this just means can you just get a singular background check from the NNA? And the answer to that is yes, you can buy just a singular background check from the NNA. Let's see. I would love for one of our friends from Notary Stars. I see Amy, I see Kirsten, who was Manuel on the call. If you guys are one of you guys are able to come on, and we got to hang out with you guys last night on your Monday general mentorship call. It was all about estate planning. Laura and I had a fabulous time. Tell us what call is coming up next week because you guys are doing your free calls a little differently now. I think I caught Amy off guard there. You guys are doing your calls a little differently now. You're doing theme week. So tell us what you're going to be talking about next week. And if Amy, if you want to put or Kirsten the link in the chat to register for MGM, that would be great. Go for it, Amy.
Kirsten, you talk. I'll do the link.
Uh,
Okay.
teamwork.
Well, next week is President's Day. So we are not having Monday General Mentorship.
Yes.
But the week after is is that fourth one, two, three, our fourth Monday, which would be John Nelson and Gabriel Sturgis. So it's going to be our apostille and
Mm.
certified translation focused Monday Journal mentorship.
Nice. Man, there's nobody better to learn from about apostille than John Nelson, right? I mean, he is the OG. So I encourage you guys to sign up for that. If you want to go hear about apostilles and have the opportunity to ask experts in 2 weeks, go check that out. I totally forgot next week is President's Day. Laura and I are still going to be working that evening, though. We are delivering our CNTDA, our estate planning presentation to the public. And you all are invited to come and join us if you would like to learn more about the opportunity in estate planning. And I'll tell you that this question comes up all the time. It came up last night. Um, just so everybody's clear, we are aware and we understand that you do not need a certification to work with estate planning professionals. It is not a necessity. It is for those people who want to kind of do a deep dive, do a focus on estate planning, and make sure that they know more about estate planning than the average person because it can get a little complicated to understand. And it's also for folks that are looking for a marketing plan for that too, because that is included with it. Um, okay, let's see. Let me go to Matt. Do we have any questions in the chat? I'm gonna let you.
I've been scanning through, but I haven't seen anything
I think I
haven't
got
addressed.
the last one. Let's see. Let me get on our sheet here. I can't remember if I brought this one up or not before.
Let's
So
see.
I'm gonna, yeah, reset. I kind of think I did, but I'm not sure. I registered for the DC Chambers Small Business Summit and Expo. It was a free registration. Will you give me any tips on how I can make the most of this networking opportunity?
That's all you.
That's a question right up my alley. I had one for you, one for Laura, one for me today. Um, First of all, the small business expos are wonderful. You learn about all different kinds of business opportunities in your community, and I love that you signed up for that. Matt, I know you and Laura have been to the Small Business Expo in San Francisco. I've been to the one here in Dallas. It's a lot of people, and you can do
Oh,
some very serious networking there. But as a notary, I would obviously advise you to look for folks with that need a notary as part of their job, right? So if there's an estate plan, if it's a doc prep company, maybe an estate planning company, you would want to go talk to them. If there was a title company, an escrow company, you would want to go talk to them. If there was a senior care facility, memory care, anything like that, places where that they would need a notary. It's not a good idea to go to every table and hand out your business cards because then that just means nothing. If you walk away, and you're going to be blown away by how many people are at this thing. I mean, I was when I went. And I felt like when I walked out of there, the fact that I talked to like 3 to 5 people. It wasn't even a lot because I was feeling very overwhelmed. But those 3 to 5 people I talked to, I made sure I also got their information. I made sure that I was the one that initiated follow up so I could be sure that I am in control of the relationship. And I continued to follow up every single month with them, not in a salesy way, but in more of a community focused way to let them know that I am out here, I am part of their community, and I am willing to help. So don't, especially if it's your first time in a huge room like that, in a huge situation, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Set a goal of meeting 3 to 5 businesses And then if you do more, fantastic. Go celebrate. Take yourself out to dinner and celebrate. But don't put it on yourself that you're going to walk away meeting 50 different people because that's a ton of pressure. And I don't know about you, but when I do that to myself, I freeze and nothing gets accomplished. So I'd rather you meet with 3 to 5 really good contacts and control the situation, make sure you're nurturing the relationship that you start that day. Let them know what you do and always let them know how you can help their business. Don't be a walking resume, walking up to every table saying, "Hi, I'm Jen. I have a $25,000 in E&O and I've done this many signings and don't do that. Nobody cares. They want to know how you can help them, even when they're the ones that have set up the booth and you're going to, to meet them specifically. But Matt, do you have anything that you wanted to add to that?
Definitely. Yeah, I would highly recommend these business expos. As Jen said, they are very busy conferences, and you have an opportunity to meet both the exhibitors and the attendees. Going to booths that's right with exhibitors is key, but I also met a lot of attendees by participating in the event business card exchange.
Mm.
In fact, I was connected with several wealth management individuals who
Oh,
obviously have needs for notary services and in the field because they either don't want to go to people's homes or their clients don't want to come all the way to their offices down the peninsula, for example. So but I will warn you, they are very busy conferences.
yeah.
And it was kind of like, when you're in a pool, you kind of got to come up for air, step out for a bit, take a deep breath, and go back in, right?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
that intense, but they're
Yeah.
also very worth it on the flip side because you get to attend all the workshops, right? So you get to benefit from all the
Hmm.
information and education that's being offered at the event as well. And I did participate in a couple of AI workshops, and they were very informative. So
Hmm.
they're usually free or very affordable. Like I think
Hmm.
we paid maybe 25 or I want to say even $15 per our ticket. Parking was free. So if you find a business expo meeting in your area, I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, and I think it's like guerrilla marketing, right? Like you really have to get
They're
in
all over
there.
the country.
Yeah, they have them in all the major cities all over the country. So I encourage you to, check your city, your closest city, see if you can attend one. But boy, if you've never been marketing or if you've never been networking before, this may not be the place you want to start.
Go
Let
sink
me
or
just
swim.
Yeah, this is really you're really throwing yourself into the fire, starting with that. But I do encourage you to go, and even if you just go to get the feel for it, to see what it's like, to check it out. Promise yourself you're going to go next year and do your networking then. But Patty said she just found 2 coming up in her area, and it's just a great way. Instead of knocking on doors, it's a great way to get in front of these local businesses and introduce yourself and your business. And like I said, let them know what you can do for them, how you can save them time, and how you can help them in their business. So, Patty, congratulations for getting signed up. You're going to have to come back and tell us about those once you do attend. And we have a question from Jeanette. Hi, Jeanette.
Hi. I have a question. So this might be something you touch base on tomorrow's call, but just in case I can't make it,
What's
when
tomorrow's call? Um,
or is it or when I'm sorry, whenever you have the event for the CNTD training?
on the 16th. Yes.
Yeah. So when you market to the attorneys, right? And you do the work for like notary loan signings, typically I found when I've signed up with signing services, I get the late evening ones or really, really early in the morning. So if I'm trying to push more to get myself working like, between that 9 to 5, just because of my schedule with kids and everything else, do you find that working with attorneys and estate planning, does that work? Is there business there during like that time frame?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or
Yeah, they're, just like title offices, they have this routine of having folks come in their office to sign their estate planning documents between 9 and 5. But there's many people, Jeanette, who just can't get away and do that. And attorneys are every day becoming more and more aware of the value of a mobile notary, especially one that is
Okay.
trained in their specialty. So once you get out there and build relationships and you are letting people know about your business, you can let
Hmm.
them know straight away that you specialize in early morning and evening appointments that, aren't on the normal hours. And it's going to click with them right away because they're going to be like, oh,
Hmm.
thank God, then I don't have to do it, right? I don't I don't have to get up at 6 a.m. or I don't have to, miss dinner to do this because they've been working all day. So it's something you want to just go in talking about that you are the one that can get things handled for their customers early morning after and in the evening to make things more convenient for them.
Well, I'm trying to get away from that. So that's why I was asking, like,
Oh,
do
I
you
thought you were
see?
saying that's what you wanted to do. I'm sorry, I heard you
No,
backwards.
so yeah, sorry, I didn't explain it
What's
right.
more
So yeah,
during
that's where I'm
during the day?
trying to kind of like steer away from just because of my schedule and stuff. So I was trying to see if there was enough business with like estate planning during like
Oh,
that
hell yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
just because
100%.
maybe in my mind I'm always thinking like, oh, people are always busy, they're at
No, let me
work.
consider this, Jeanette. So I do a lot of trust work because I don't do any real estate work anymore. I haven't for 2 years, maybe three.
Uh-huh.
And what I find is that trust work is busy during the day because, as Jen said, either they're going to have you come in their office and sign, notarize for clients coming in to meet them because they don't have a notary on staff, or
Mm-hmm.
on the flip side of that, I have a lot of attorneys who work strictly remote, right? So I show up at the client's home. The attorney zooms in during business hours. We take
Mm-hmm.
care of the signing. I move on to my next. And the clients understand that their attorney is working business hours, so they expect to have to meet with them during business hours, and I do as well. So it works out really well. What I find in my experience is the trust work I'm doing during the day typically
Mm-hmm.
comes from attorneys and trust providers like AmeriEstate, for example. The trust work I'm doing on the evenings and weekends are
Mm-hmm.
folks who have used self-prepared businesses like Rocket Docs and Trust and Will and that sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
Jeanette, I want to take this opportunity to share a worksheet I just created for the CNTDA community. And I want everybody to hear me with this. This is a really important thing for you guys to understand. Loan signings over the last 10 years gained visibility because they were heavily promoted,
Right.
not because there's more loan signing business than estate planning business. The difference now is Laura and I have decided to position and train notaries to properly help this ginormous audience of people in estate planning to wait. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Loan
Small.
signing via estate planning? Okay.
It's pretty small.
You might have to make it bigger on your
Oh, okay.
screen.
Oh,
Let
I
me,
see. Okay.
oh, wait, can you see it now?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to read through this. Take a picture of it if you want. But these are the 2026 projections of loan signings versus estate planning and trust delivery. And it very clearly lays out there is exponentially more business in the estate planning arena than there is in the loan signing arena. And honestly, if you compared this to, the pinnacle of loan signings, which was like 2020 to 2022, when people were making money hand over fist,
Hmm.
still more business in estate planning than in loan signings.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I just wanted to combine both. Well, learn obviously the estate planning
Yeah.
and just combine it with the loan signings. Because I'm just kind of seeing myself overwhelmed with trying to catch the next thing and then trying to do the stuff with the family. And I mean,
Sure.
I'm getting up there in age, so I just don't want to be. I don't want um multi-million dollar business, but I want enough to be able to retire and
Yeah,
just
of
be able
course.
to live comfortably.
Yeah. The climb is a little easier in the estate planning world right now. It doesn't mean you
Mhm.
don't do loan signings. It doesn't mean you ignore them. It doesn't mean they're bad. It's just
Yeah.
let's look at the reality of the situation with all these amazing loan signing trainers that, across the country from Notary Stars to, all the other ones. It was just the most visible thing that people were talking about. That's why we have this perceived notion that the loan signing world is very robust and easy, right? To dive into.
Mhm.
And that's not the case.
It
Uh,
is but a fraction of the entire business.
Exactly. It's just one line of business. Just like estate planning is a line of business. Just like working with medical facilities and palliative care, hospice, it's a line of business. So I always recommend folks get um, very well trained in the things that interest them and focus on that for a while. And then once you nail it and you've started building a business and you've got good referrals coming in, and we do teach you how to do that. We have a robust marketing program in CNTDA. Then your business will come together, but you've got to do that work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for your insight. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Come hang out with us on the 16th.
I will. I'll make it.
Awesome. Well, guys, we have come to the end
Well,
of.
let's get Salisa. Let's squeeze Salisa in.
Oh, Salisha, I didn't even see your hand up. What's up?
This is your notary tip for how to take care of your shredder. Put
I
in
was
a piece
wondering what the heck you were doing with
put in a
foil. I
piece of
saw you.
aluminum foil, and as it's going down, give it a little squirt with some WD-40. As it goes down, it'll sharpen your shredder.
Brilliant.
Oh my God, that is brilliant. I love
Tip
it.
of the
Thank
day.
you, Celicia. I tell you what, she is always full of good advice. All right, guys, thank you so much for being with us today. Now, I was going to surprise Matt with this, but Laura called me out before. She was spicy today. She's like, Matt, before we let everybody in the room, Matt, FYI, Jen's going to put you on the spot at the end. So, Matt, I am putting you on the spot to close us out.
Yeah, well, thanks, Jen. I'm a little bit prepared, but this is a little something that I keep in mind when I get frustrated if I don't get a job or a customer that I want doesn't call me back. It's called my SW5 theory, and it goes a little bit like this. Some will work with you, some won't work with you. But so what? Because somewhere, someone's waiting to hear from you. That's all we have for this week, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
That was awesome, Matt. I love that.